Do you exercise regularly and eat well, but still feel like you have too much stress? Like you still have some health issues, some nagging injuries, some other things, some sleep issues perhaps that just don't seem to get better, even though you're quote unquote doing everything right? And have you maybe even gone to a doctor and showed up and shared your issues with them, and all the doctors said, well, here, take this pill, or they ran tests on you and said, hey, listen, we can't find anything. There's nothing wrong with you. And it leaves you frustrated and feeling like there's something wrong here. And you just don't know what to do. You're just not sure where to turn. You just don't know what to do next. You can't exercise any more or any harder. Yes, you could eat cleaner, but you've tried that before and it just doesn't seem to really give you that big of a difference. Well, that's what we're going to dive into today in today's Real Talk Friday. And it's going to get real. So buckle up. What is up, my friends, mis amigos, as they say in Espanol? And I am in Playa del Carmen, Mexico right now. And I've only been here for a couple days and amazing things are already happening. And perhaps you heard that last time on the previous Real Talk Friday. And for those of you who are new to this show, I'm health expert Ted Rice, coach to entrepreneurs, executives, and other high-performing professionals. What this show is about, it's about losing fat, it's about preventing disease, but it's really about living the type of life that fills you with joy, that leaves you feeling fulfilled. It's about being in that moment, feeling like you're living the life that you were meant to. It's about self-actualization, as Abraham Maslow might say. That's what this show is about. And if that's interesting to you, and if you enjoy this episode, make sure you subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever app you might listen to. And if you've been listening for a while and you need help to create a leaner, stronger, and healthier body, well, guess what? If you choose to prioritize wellness in the middle of this crisis, you're in the right place. I've been working on, actually my team and I, because now we've got a team, have been working on a new free 7-day comeback challenge created specifically to help you thrive during these unprecedented times. And the next one starts on September 18th. And listen, it's free. There's no strings attached. It's simply the best way I know how to help my legendary life family succeed now. So after spending a week with me, you'll know what to eat, how much to eat, how to exercise to get the leaner, stronger, and energetic body you've always wanted, even during these crazy times. And if that sounds interesting to you, go to legendarylifepodcast.com/challenge and sign up now. Again, spots are limited in the challenge, first come, first serve. And we do it because, like I said, it's my way to give back, to help you thrive. And in case you're one of the people who've been looking for someone to work with to help take your health to the next level, you get to test the goods before you buy. So let me share this with you. I've been plagued by many health problems throughout, starting really in my teens: joint pain, stress problems, sleep issues, so many problems. And I'm not going to rehash my whole story. Many of you have heard it before, but after my brother was killed, I found that when I was 19, I found that exercise and eating well were the things that allowed me to heal, to get back in the game of life after being knocked so hard on my ass. And I eventually became a personal trainer at 22 years of age in Miami Beach, went on to work with celebrities and millionaires and take shots of tequila, shots of Patron with Russell Simmons, have dinner with Gary Busey, work with Iron Man, AKA Robert Downey Jr., and train Richard Branson and his wife. So many crazy stories and wonderful stories. But during that time, I really focused on exercise and nutrition. I felt that it was key to healing, to becoming the best version of myself, to overcoming my tough childhood, to overcoming all those things. And you know what? It's true. But then I hit a bottleneck. I couldn't exercise any harder. And I was at the point where I was eating so extremely, quote unquote, healthy that I wouldn't go out to dinner unless it was an organic restaurant and they had clean food available. And what I've come to realize now that I just couldn't see then is that so many of our health issues are from stress, are from the psychological baggage that's been created for most of us early in life, and then throughout life, and then even right now, from our parents, from our peers, from our quote unquote friends that didn't seem to be. And looking back, it seems like, well, I really shouldn't have called them friends. We were just drinking buddies or drugging buddies, or we shared these unhealthy behaviors, and we found commonalities in that. And also in our environment, the way we set up our environment. If we have I used to be so messy in my room, my clothes would be all over the floor, and I was never dirty, but I was very messy. It's just a thing. And what I've come to realize is that so many of our issues, if we want to feel the way we want to feel, we can't exercise them away. We can't eat them away with superfood salads and kale smoothies. We've got to go within and do the work. And if this is starting to sound like it's going in a spiritual direction, it's not. This is a very practical approach. Here's what we know now. The loneliness, so many of us, I think, are realizing this with the quarantine, the pandemic, our social lives being so affected, is that the social component is part of our health. In fact, I had a great conversation with a client, Rich. Shout out to you if you're listening to this episode. And we were having this conversation, and Rich is an accountant. I helped him get to the point where tax seasons where he used to go off the reins and eat and gain a bunch of weight, he doesn't have that anymore. We have him dialed in. He's at the lowest weight. He's so lean right now. You can see his abs. And if you've been listening for a long time, you've probably heard Rich's story, heard his interview. And so he was telling me he had this great experience recently where he went to Yellowstone Park and spent it with his sons. He's got 4 boys, spent it with his sons. I don't think all of them were there. I don't remember, but there was another person there who he ended up connecting with, someone that was older than him and that had traveled a lot. And he was sharing his stories about travel with Rich. And Rich just came away from the experience just thinking, whoa, that was such a great experience. It was so good to connect with someone like that, to hear their stories. And we just connected on a different level. And what I started telling Rich, or what our conversation went into, our coaching call really went into, is that, so Rich trains daily cardio, right? He's in phenomenal cardiovascular shape. He lifts weights. He's strong. He's lean. There's not much room to grow in that area for him. Yeah, he could get a bit leaner, could he get in better shape? Of course. But it's really that's more performance oriented and less health oriented, if that makes sense. But to work on health, he's got, and this is what I learned, we have to turn away or back off, or not even back off, but maintain what we're doing with nutrition, with exercise. And we've got to look for the other areas of our life that we're not stepping up in. And I said, Rich, instead of those great social interactions that leave you coming away feeling fulfilled, like this is amazing, what an amazing experience, why not be more intentional? And your social life, think of it, be intentional about creating a social life that improves your health. So think about your social life like how you think about your exercise, like how you think about your nutrition. I want you to think about what I just said, because you might be like, oh, that sounds stupid or silly or weird, but it's not. Research is showing that it may be one of the most important things for longevity. But what do? What's the NAD? Should I take the NAD or what pill is the resveratrol? How do I live forever with the exercise, the supplements, what superfoods? No, we're figuring out now that social interaction is key to longevity. And we're not talking about woo-woo here. We're talking about science. What we're learning, another way to say that is what we've learned is that loneliness and isolating yourself socially can be as damaging to you as cigarette smoking or tobacco smoking, as excessive drinking, as obesity. But yet we don't think about it in those terms. We don't think about it in that way. And then we exercise, we eat our freaking superfoods and drink our Organifi, right? If you're like me, and your green or whatever greens powder and popping your pills, or taking L-theanine or valerian or any of the other various supplements that calm you down. But we don't look at the aspects of our life that are creating those issues for us. And what I want to tell you is this: if you don't start realizing this issue, if you don't start looking at the other aspects of health, your emotional health, your social health, if you will, you're never going to get that experience that you're looking for. You can't exercise anymore. You can't eat any more healthy. In fact, if you get too extreme, it starts to become unhealthy simply because you're the what I tell my clients is this: don't be the nutrition weirdo. Don't be the person who shows up to your family dinner with your Tupperware, with your separately. You're separating yourself. You're creating walls in between connecting with the people that you love. Does that make sense? Do you feel it when it happens? When people say, hey, can't you just not be weird, or can't you just eat what everyone else is eating? Why can't you? Because the truth is, what we call unhealthy food isn't really that unhealthy, and our disconnection from others is unhealthy. And where are most people lacking who are already taking steps in eating better and taking their supplements and exercising frequently? I want to share this post. I talked about it last episode, but the post that I made is the post that I shared on social media was, I'm bringing it up here so I don't forget, but the best fat loss hack no one talks about is to create a life that doesn't drive you to escape by overeating and drinking alcohol. Boy, that got a lot of comments, a lot of likes, loves, even a few shares. And it's this idea that health, what I'm talking about here is this is the future of health. It's not in, hey, what's a supplement that really is going to help our mitochondria or help lower inflammation, or how much curcumin can we stuff ourselves with, or how many superfoods can we eat? Hey, there's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you're not willing to look at the other areas, your emotional health, getting over some of or getting past, or more accurately talking about integrating some of the trauma that you've been through maybe in your early childhood and up. And listen, if you're like, man, I don't want to talk about that, just tell me what rep range to do. Is the 5x5 method the one that I should do, or should I do myoreps or cluster sets, or how much cardio, how many calories do I eat? What's the optimal amount of protein? Listen, why are you asking those things? What do you hope you're going to experience? Because I'll tell you this, I work with people all the time. Think about that. This is my whole life, coaching people in this stuff. And I've moved away from talking strictly, at least, because the details are important there. Optimal protein, all that stuff is still important. I'm not saying it isn't. What I am saying is that even when people join my coaching group, I tell them exactly what to do. I set them up for success. Sometimes they can't follow through. And then the question is, why? What is coming up for you? Because what my coaching group really is about is, at a more superficial level, it's about a body transformation. At a deeper level, though, it's about an internal transformation, because people seek the end result, and it's great to have a goal. Make more money, have a great relationship, be a great dad or mom, run a great business, or, see your six pack, whatever it is. But it's the journey and who we have to become, how we have to change to not only achieve that goal, but to achieve it in a healthy and sustainable way. And what so many people find is that they can't stick with the calories that I give them. They can't hit the protein that I give them. Why? Because their life gets in the way, because their stress gets in the way. So until you start digging deeper and addressing the issues that are truly keeping you stuck, you will stay stuck. And I can't fix that. In fact, nobody can fix that for you. You've got to step up and do the work. And I'll tell you, this is something that I say to myself and something I do. So I'll change directions a little bit here, switch gears a little bit. I'm here in Playa del Carmen. I won't annoy you with any more speaking Spanish. I don't know if it annoys you or not. I'm just kind of teasing. But what I am saying is I'm here because I was feeling so down when I was in Fort Pierce, Florida, taking care of my dad. And I found myself like blaming my dad. I had this story. He's a toxic person. He's ruining my life. This place sucks. And all valid things to say, to be honest. But the problem is Fort Pierce isn't going to change for me. It's been the way it's been for a long time. The culture there, the people there, they're running their habits, if you will. My dad running his habits. Actually, he's done a tremendous amount of growth. But I ran out of my ability to affect change. So what I had to do is I needed to change myself. And the way I've done that now, I've come somewhere else. And so here's what I've got planned. I've got a breath work session that I'm going to be doing. Actually, even more exciting, if you find this exciting or not, I've done an ayahuasca experience before, as many of you who've been listening for a while have heard me through that experience, that crazy experience. And I'm going to be meeting with a shaman actually in a few days, and I'm going to be doing DMT, smoking DMT, and I'm going to report back on that. I'm going to be diving in Cozumel, which is some of the diving. I'm going to be working on expanding and going deeper psychologically and expanding my skills, expanding my experience. But I'm going to do my best not to just acquire new skills and just to check off new boxes. I'm going to try to work on transforming myself, becoming a better version of myself. And I would argue that this is what my coaching program is really about. And it's what most people really want. I'm sorry. Let's say it's what most people really perhaps need, not want. What they want is, no, tell me how many calories to eat, how much food, what food should I eat, what food should I not eat, what exercise do I do? Because I want to look in the mirror and see something better than what I see now, right? But what I would argue is you want to feel better. And what you think will happen when you get your six-pack abs or when you fit back in your size, whatever dress or whatever, however you define the goal, when you get back in your skinny jeans, what you think is that if you achieve that, you will feel better than how you feel now. And sometimes that happens, but here's what I'll tell you. There's people, and even when I was super lean, in which I'm on my way back to, by the way, because I'm feeling emotionally healthier. Not that it's emotionally healthier to be lean, mind you, not to go off on a tangent, but I'm saying I can more easily achieve my goals, be productive when I'm in a more emotionally healthy state. So what I'm saying is this: people want those more superficial goals. I want to have more money in the bank. I want to drive that car, but it's really about the change that happens along the way, who you have to become. And I would even argue that for the people who aren't willing to go there, they don't change as much in my program, in anyone's program, in anything that you do, really. If you're just checking boxes and acquiring new experiences, it's not going to give you what you want. And my point is here is that Exercise is important. Nutrition is important, but it comes to a point where you get diminishing returns on those things, and you've got to look at different areas. And so what I'd ask you now is, what areas do you feel need work in your life? Are you anxious? Are you bored? Where are you anxious? Where are you bored? Because anxiety is a sign that you need to step up your skills. Boredom is a sign that you need to step up the challenge. And at a deeper level, changing who we are and how we view the world, changing our perspective. We may even talk about that on the next Real Talk Friday, because that's an important one. How we change our perspective. Because so many of us, we change horizontally. We add new skills, check boxes, add new experiences, but fundamentally, we don't change that much. It's when we start to view the world differently that we start to change our relationship to the world, our relationship to other people, our relationship to our past. That's when the really exciting things happen. So let's wrap things up there. I know that was a bit maybe left field for some of you. I know some of you are starting to realize that on your own through this experience we're going through with the quarantine, the coronavirus, how things have changed so rapidly. And so we'll wrap things up there, but that's what I want you to think about. If you're noticing the diminishing returns on the nutrition, on the superfoods, on the supplements, on the exercise, time to look at somewhere else in your life. And again, if you want my help, because one of the things we do in the challenge is we talk about some of this deeper stuff. We don't go that deep. So don't worry. It's not like, okay, before you get your workout and nutrition information, tell me about your childhood. We don't do that. But we do work on the mindset. Mindset, it's one of those things when you hear it, you're like, stupid talk about mindset. So dumb. It's what I used to think until my mindset changed. Then I realized oh my gosh, that's where it's at. So if you want my help to step up in the area of your health, if you want to learn the right things and to work through the obstacles that come up while you're trying to implement the right rules, if you're choosing to prioritize wellness in the middle of this crisis, I want to invite you to my free 7-day comeback challenge. I will help you thrive. I will help you level up from wherever you are now. And no strings attached. There's nothing to buy or apart from joining my coaching group if you're interested, but there's no pressure there. And in 1 week, you'll know what to eat, how much to eat, how to exercise to get that longer, stronger, energetic body you've wanted. But also, you'll experience, at least my goal is to create a fundamental transformation. And so many people that come through the challenge say, this challenge changed my life. And guess what? We've made it even better. So if that's what you're into, go to legendarylifepodcast.com/challenge and sign up now. All the things that I said in the beginning hold true. It's a limited amount of people that we allow in the challenge. Otherwise, you'll have to be put on the waiting list for the next one. So hope you enjoy this. I got much more coming for you. I'm so excited right now, so pumped up. I hope you can feel it. I hope you feel the change. And I hope this is hitting you and helping. And I want to ask you, before we wrap up today, what was the one thing that stood out to you? Could have been something I said, could have been something completely different that popped up in your mind. What is the big takeaway from listening to this today? And what is something that you can act on? Because what we need is less thinking, more action. Go do it. Love you. Want the best for you. And talk to you soon.